Today we're going to talk about one of the most important things in every area of personal development. It's the foundation that success is built on. Today we're talking about setting goals, and more specifically we're going to start with setting SMART goals. So what are SMART goals? I'm going to explain that to you right now. SMART is an acronym and it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and last, time-bound or time-specific. All right. SMART goals is a widely used framework. It's used everywhere. It's been proven to be one of the most effective ways to set goals and then, eventually achieve them. By using this framework, you are more likely to succeed because the goals are well-defined and realistic. I've mentioned this in the past that if you don't have goals in mind and a clear path to get to those goals, to achieve those goals, then the odds of achieving them are slim to none. And I've noticed this throughout my whole life. The reason it took me so long to develop in my life, because I never set goals like this. I never put a timeline on myself. And if you think about it, whenever you have something that you have to get done that's due for school or for your job, something you have to do, well, what do they give you? They give you specific directions. They're going to grade it so it's measurable. Attainable, well, you're in the class, so you did whatever prerequisite was necessary, so it's attainable. Relevant, because whatever area you're studying, it's relevant to that. And then time-bound. Well, if you have a paper that's due, it's due on this day. So that's why it's effective when they assign you these things in a school setting or in a job setting, because they're covering all the bases as compared to something that you might want to do in your own life. And this would really be great for me if I could make this happen. And then maybe even take a little bit of action towards that. But you never put it down on paper to say, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to measure this. This is realistic in my life. And I want to get this done by this day. That's the difference between those two situations. So let's go over a breakdown of SMART goals. Specific. Your goal should be clear and specific. It helps you focus your efforts and clearly define what you're aiming to achieve. So here's an example what you could ask yourself. What exactly do I want to accomplish? Why is this goal important? Who is involved? Where is it located? And which resources or limits are involved in getting there? So an example would be, I want to save money. It's not specific at all. So you want to turn that into something that more like, I want to save $1,000 to buy a laptop by the end of the school year. Okay, that's a more specific goal than I want to save money. Well, why do you want to save money? Be specific. What are you going to use that thing for? I want to save $1,000 so I can buy a new laptop for school by the end of the year. Next, measurable. A goal must be measurable so you can track your progress. This helps you stay motivated and know when you've reached your goal. So ask yourself, how much, how many, how will I know when it's accomplished? Now, an example of something of making something measurable, going back to this. I want to save money. Okay, great. Everyone wants to save money. No. I want to save $200 each month for 5 months. So now not only did you say, I want to save that $1,000, you want to make it measurable. Break it down into something small that you can track easier. So if you know it's 5 months away for you to buy that laptop and you need to save $1,000, divide that by 5 and you need to save $200 per month. Now we're specific and we're measurable. So after 2 months, if you know you don't have $400 saved, you could measure out and say, I'm behind the 8 ball right now. I better pick it up. This month I might need to save, $300 instead. So that's an example of measurable. Next up, attainable or achievable. Your goal needs to be realistic and attainable to be successful. It should stretch your abilities, but also remain possible. You don't want to set your goals too low, but you don't want to set them too far out there where they start to, cripple you. You should be get a little anxiety from your goals because they're a little bit past what you know you can already achieve, but you don't want them too far out there to where they cripple you because you're like, oh my God, I can never achieve that. Okay, so we want to keep it achievable. Ask yourself, how can I accomplish this goal? Is it realistic given the resources or time that I have? So here's an example of something that is, not really going to be achievable, especially if you're just starting out. I want to save $10,000 in the next 2 months. Well, if you're not a high income earner, and odds are if you're taking this course right now, listening to this video, you're probably not going to be able to save $10,000 in 2 months. So you have to shoot for something that is more realistic, more achievable. Well, what is that? Let's say I want to save $1,000 over the next 5 months. So again, back to, hey, if I could save $200 a month, which, should be pretty reasonable, for just about anyone with any kind of job, and you'll save $1,000 in 5 months. It's something that, gives you a little bit of a challenge, but you're not overwhelmed by, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. All right, next up, relevant. Your goal should matter to you and align with your other long-term plans that you may have. It should make sense in the bigger picture of what you want to achieve. So ask yourself, is this goal worthwhile? Is now the right time? Does it align with my other plans? So an example of this, I want to save money for a luxury vacation. It may not be as relevant if your priority is to buy a laptop from school. That's great. It's a goal. I want to save, money to go on this luxury vacation. But if your main goal, the most important priority for you is to buy this laptop for school, which is something that you absolutely need to succeed, then you're going to have to put your needs above your wants. I mean, you're going to have to do that throughout your entire life. But when we're talking about goals, you don't want to get caught up in something that is diverting from the path. You have your path and your purpose that you're following. We already went through that of how to find your vision and your purpose. And now we have this in our minds. We have this idea of who we want to be, what we want to have, where we want to go with our life. Now, diverting off course and taking, like the example saying 5 months of money that we could be saving to get closer to our goal and then throwing it away on, maybe you had fun on this vacation. It's not going to be the way to success. That's it. So it's a goal, but it's not aligned in your end goal. And all our little goals, we want to make sure that they're aligned with our big goal. So the last one is time bound. Every goal needs a target date. If it's not on the calendar for me, it doesn't happen. If I don't put a deadline on something, the odds of it happening are slim to none. Anything I'm very serious about doing, it goes immediately in my calendar. with constant reminders of when I have to do it. Hey, this is going to be due in a week. Make sure this is taken care of. I didn't always live like that. I for so many years, I was a major procrastinator. With graduate school, like, the one thing graduate school taught me more than anything else was, how to manage your time. Of don't wait till the last minute. You know how many times I ended up doing 10, 15-page papers on the day it was due? And I was miserable. Instead of taking a little time to go and do it, I would wait and it would take me, 12 hours to do it. Anyway, that's off topic. But every goal needs a target date. So you have a deadline to focus on and something to work towards. This part of the SMART goal criteria helps prevent everyday tasks from taking priority over your longer term goals. So ask yourself, when? What can I do today? What can I do 6 weeks from now? Now, an example of this is, I want to save $1,000. That's a bad example because, again, it's not giving any specific, time, any specific amounts, right? So we want to turn I want to save $1,000 into I want to save $1,000 over the next 5 months by saving $200 each month. So now that covers all of these things that we just touched on, right? That's the kind of goals that we want to set. And when you put this down on paper and you look through this, it's not just an idea anymore. It's starting to form into something real. That's why it's crucial that you write this stuff down. Whether it's typing it up on a computer or printing it out. Personally, I like to write a lot of things down, and if I type something up and it's important and I want to see it all the time, I put it right there on my desk, hang it up. You want to be training your subconscious to be thinking about this all the time. And that's how you get things. And we talked about that in the previous lesson. So now I'm going to go through the exercise. First, we're going to finish off with why should we use SMART goals? Because setting SMART goals helps clarify our ideas, focus our efforts, and use our time productively. It also increases our chances of achieving what we want in life. So I already touched on that. Just want to finish that last note. Now for the exercise. You're going to set your own SMART goals. You're going to pick something. Now, it's your turn to create your SMART goal. You can use the instructions that I'm going to provide. I'm going to go through this with you right now, and I'm going to explain how to do this, use an example with one of my own goals. So stay with me. We'll be right back to that. All right, so I'm going to go through this exercise using an example that I haven't already done in my life so you guys can see exactly how this works. So here's my goal. I have a lot of goals. I'm just going to pick one that's a little bit, more difficult to figure out. Money is probably the easiest one that you can figure out. It's very easy to track that. Okay, specific. What exactly do I want to achieve? Well, I'll tell you what I want to achieve. I want to help 1,000 teens and young adults gain independence in their life. I want to teach 1,000 teens and young adults what they need to succeed in the real world. Okay, so now I got to think about the math on that. Let's say I want to help. Let's just do this. Help 1,000 people gain independence. Okay? Now, how will I measure that progress? How will I know when it's achieved? Okay, well, this is how I'm going to know. How long will it take me to help 1,000 people? Now, 1,000, let's do 10 years. Let's make that a 10-year goal because, again, we want it to be attainable. So if I do 1,000 divided by 10 equals 100 divided by 12 months equals like 8.3 or something. So let's just say 8 people per month for 10 years. That's how I'm going to measure it. So I'll know that if this month I only help, 6 people, the next month I got to help 10 people to stay on track for that. And then I'll have spreadsheets and I have a database where I'm going to track all, the people that came in and if they got results and how long did it take. So that's how I'm going to track it. I have systems and processes in place. I'm going to track, clients' progress, how long it took, and that's how I'm going to figure out my number there. So, is this goal realistic? Yeah, I would say this is realistic. Let's just write yes. Okay, well, why? What steps am I going to take to achieve it? So I kind of went through that already. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm going to, let's just say, marketing, get more leads to help more people. If people don't know, then how am I going to help more people if they don't know? So I would say, what am I going to do to achieve this? Do a little bit more on the marketing side of things. What else? Well, besides that, I'm pretty much going to do exactly what I already do. Continue to provide value to as many people as possible and just genuinely show that I care. Show people that, your success is my success. So I'm just going to write more of what I'm already doing. Provide value. Provide more value than I receive in return. Provide massive value. How about that? Massive value. Okay, next. Relevant. Why is this goal important? Well, it's important because this is my passion and my purpose. This is what I've dedicated my life to doing. So that's why I'm just going to write my purpose. Because it's my purpose. Okay. Does it align with my long-term plans? Yes. 10 years is kind of a long-time plan anyway. But yes, it does align with my long-term plans because really my ultimate long-term plan is to leave a legacy. I spoke about this in another video that my goal is to have thousands of people when they tell their story of how they changed their life to their grandkids or their kids at some point and whatever it may be. I want them to mention my name as one of the reasons that they decided to wake up and take charge in their own life. So yeah, I would say it aligns with my long-term plans, which is basically my legacy. So last one, time bound. What is my deadline for achieving this goal? Well, I've already talked about it. Let's say 10 years. Okay? This is a very long-term smart goal that I put in place. But if I wanted to do this to make it a shorter term goal, what would I have to do? Really, all I would have to do is change the number. So over here, instead of this, we would just start here. Let's say I want to help 100 people in the next year, right? All I have to do is start right here. 100 divided by 12, and we're still going to get to 8. So my short-term goal is help 8 people per month. I think that's completely reasonable. I'm at that already. So to continue to do that is, definitely attainable. If I wanted to push this, right, and I wanted to do, in 5 years, if I wanted to get this goal done in 5 years, I would have to do, all you'd have to do is double times 2. So it would be 16 people a month. 16 people a month. Even that is not unreasonable. So after going through this, I realized maybe that goal of 1,000 people in 10 years is not big enough. Maybe I need to be thinking bigger than that. Well, what's bigger than that? Let's just cut it in half. 5 years. Let's do 5 years. Okay? That's gonna be my goal. 16 people per month. And even that I think is completely reasonable to do. I'm already well on track to doing that. If you're watching this video, you're one of these people that I'm going to consider being helped by what I'm doing. So thank you for that. But yeah, that's it. That's the lesson on SMART goals. Okay, you can go through this step by step, whether you followed along in the video or not. You could go through this exercise in the course, at your own pace. But plug in your own goal. So get a rough draft of this idea that you have that you want to achieve, and write it down at the top somewhere, and then break it down. And it's okay if it's not perfect. It doesn't matter. Just put something on there and then take the first step to getting there. So I'm going to do one more exercise about another way to set goals in the next segment. See you there.